Hey, BookTube, Sean here. This is going to be the long talked about, I don't know how long talked about, but this is my award winners reading project. And you're going to see me looking kind of more this way a lot during this video because my spreadsheet is up on the computer because I'm a dork and I made a big spreadsheet about it. But the idea behind this was to try and get me out of my standard comfort zone of reading. Most of you know, if you've been following my channel for a while, I do call myself Eclectic Reads. I am interested in a lot of different types of books, but my primary reading tends to be fantasy, science fiction, and horror. Mostly fantasy. But I do enjoy a lot of other things, and I want to be a little bit more well-rounded in the other genres of books that I enjoy, especially literary and contemporary fiction. I want to read more of that than what I do currently. I want to read more than I currently do, just in general. I just want to read more books in a year than I currently get done. And I've done pretty good with that this year. Last year I read 29 books. This year I'm already at 52, with still a month left in the year. So I might end up doubling what I read last year, which would be nice. And then if I could double that again next year and read closer to 100 books, that would be great for 2018. But because let's face it, I'm 40 years old, and I'm never going to get to all the books I want to get to. So I want to get to as many of them as I can. But so I came up with this idea. Originally, I was going to do the Book Riot Read Harder challenge, and I was doing that for a little while, and then I came up with this. I started watching BookTube a lot and seeing a lot of different books in different genres, and then I would also start hearing people talk about this one won this award and this one won this award. So I started looking into some of the awards, and I decided that having a personal project of reading some award winners was probably better for me to help get me out of that comfort zone and read more literary and contemporary fiction than what I currently read, than what the Read Harder challenge was doing for me. Because it's not a pressure of trying to fit books into categories and time frame of a year and that. And honestly, my Reddit fantasy bingo, I haven't talked about this yet in any of the videos I've recorded today, but I'm kind of letting the Reddit fantasy bingo go too, because I would need to read. I decided to, because at the moment I decided I needed to read a little over 2 fantasy books a month to complete the bingo. And I was putting undue pressure on myself to do it. And I was going to be reading books that I didn't really feel like reading just to try and complete the bingo before the end of March. And I'm not that in a fantasy mood right now. I have a fantasy book I'm reading right now because I'm buddy reading it with some people. But I'm more in a literary and historical fiction mood and mystery. So I just decided just to let the fantasy bingo thing go. It was causing me too much undue pressure on my reading, and I don't like pressure on my reading because it makes me collapse and not read. So what I decided to do is I looked at a bunch of different awards. The first thing I looked at, of course, was the National Book Award and the Man Booker. And then I learned about the Bailey's Women's Prize, which used to be called the Orange Prize. So I originally structured it around the Man Booker National Book Award and Bailey's Prize. And then I heard about the Welcome Book Prize, and I was going... This project has changed shape a couple of times, too. So I was going to do the Welcome Book Prize in the list. Let me see if I can get some of this, get to a darker screen on my other computer so I can get some of this white glare off of my face here. Let me just go to... And that's a little bit too much. Okay, that's better. So I was going to do I was going to do the Man Booker winners, the National Book Award winners, and the Bailey's Women's Prize winners. And then I learned about the Welcome Book Prize from Caitlin at Kitty G. And those sounded cool. It sounded interesting. So I added what I did is I added those, and then I decided, you know what? There's a lot of National Book Award. What I'll do right now is the Man Booker, the Baileys, and the Welcome Book Prize. And then I heard about the Costa Award. And a lot of those books sounded good. So then I added the Costa Award to that, but then I had to shorten the list of the Man Booker because there's a lot of Man Booker winners. So what I was going to do was the Man Booker from 2000, the Bailey's Women's Prize, the Welcome Book Prize, and the Costa Award from 2006 when it became the Costa Award. It was something else before that. And lately I was thinking about, you know what, the Welcome Book Prize, sometimes it's fiction, sometimes it's nonfiction. The subjects don't always interest me. So I'm keeping it on my spreadsheet because I won't remember some of the books if I don't, because some of the books I do still want to read, but I don't really want to make it part of my award winners project anymore. So what I'm filming today is my award winners project as it currently stands and as I would like it to be the way I'm thinking about it right now. So I am not going to go into descriptions of books because this would be a hour-long video if I did, because there are 68 books on my list. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Man Booker Award since 2000. National Book Award winners since 2000. Bailey's Women Prize, all of them, because it started in 1996. So if I just go from 2000, that's only adding 4 more books to do the entire list of Bailey's Women's Prize winners. And the Costa Award winners since 2006 when it became the Costa Award. So let's start with the books that are going to be the Man Booker prize winners. So starting in 2000, it's The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. 2001 was The True History of the Kelly Gang by Peter Carey. 2002 is Life of Pi by Anne Martel. 2003 was Vernon God Little by D.B.C. Pierre. 2004 is The Line of Beauty by Alan Hollinghurst. 2005 is The Sea by John Banville. 2006 is The Inheritance of Loss by Kieran Desai. 2007 is The Gathering by Anne Enright. 2008, The White Tiger by Aravind Adiga. 2009, Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. 2010, The Finkler Question by Howard Jacobson. 2011 is The Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes. 2013, what did I just say? 2011, Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes. 2012, Bring Up the Bodies by Hilary Mantel, which is the second book, which is the sequel to Wolf Hall, second book in the, I think it's the Thomas Cromwell series. 2013, The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton. 2014, The Narrow Road to the Deep North by Richard Flanagan. 2015 is A Brief History of Seven Killings by Marlon James. 2016, The Sellout by Paul Beatty. And 2017, which was just announced in October, is Lincoln in the Bardo by George Saunders. So those are the Man Booker prize books that are on my project. I already own several of them. I have not read any of them yet, so I have not marked any of them off yet. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of them, it's why I chose the Man Booker Prize, is a lot of them really piqued my interest when I read descriptions. Okay, so next is the National Book Award. It's the only American award I have on my list. Just like television, I seem to be favoring British/UK awards, and I tend to favor UK television too. But anyway, the National Book Award from 2000 is in 2000 was called In America by Susan Sontag. 2001 was The Corrections by Jonathan Franzen. 2002, Three Junes by Julia Glass. 2003 was The Great Fire by Shirley Hazard. 2004 was The News from Paraguay by Lily Tuck. 2005, Europe Central by William Volman. 2006, The Echo Maker by Richard Powers. 2007, Tree of Smoke by Dennis Johnson. 2008, Shadow Country, Peter Matheson. 2009, Let the Great World Spin by Colin McCann. 2010, Lord of Misrule by Jamie Gordon. 2011, Salvage the Bones by Jesmyn Ward. 2011, Salvage the Bones. And Jesmyn Ward is nominated, she's on the short list, I believe, for the National Book Award for Sing Unburied Sing. No, she just won the National Book Award for Sing Unburied Sing, didn't she? Didn't that just win? Sorry, I gotta look this up now. Yeah. Was on the long list for the National Book Award. Sorry, my memory is failing me here. Yeah, Sing Unburied Sing won the National Book Award for 2017, so I actually need to add that to my list here. Jesmyn Ward. Okay, so 2011, Salvage the Bones by Jesmyn Ward. 2012, The Roundhouse by Louise Erdrich. And I have another one of her books over here, her most recent book, Future Home of the Living God. So hopefully I like her as a writer. 2013, The Good Lord Bird by James McBride. 2014, Redeployment by Phil Clay. 2015, Fortune Smiles Stories, a short story collection by Adam Johnson. 2016, The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. And 2017, as I just discovered, Sing Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward. And of these, the only one I have read is The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. I read that earlier this year, and I enjoyed that one. I thought the fantastical element could have been more prominent and more a part of the story, but it was a very powerful book. If you haven't read The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead, I highly suggest checking it out. So, Bailey's Award, Bailey's Women's Prize. I threw this one in here because a lot of the books sounded up my alley. It sounded really interesting to me. And the award winners that I had picked so far didn't have as much female representation in the winners as I might have liked. I mean, there are several, but to balance things out some too, and read more women authors, I added the Bailey's Women's Prize to this. So the starting in 1996 to current, I'm gonna try and read them all. So that is 1996, A Spell of Winter by Helen Dunmore. 1997, Fugitive Pieces by Ann Michaels. 1998, Larry's Party by Carol Shields. 1999, A Crime in the Neighborhood, Susan Byrne. 2000, When I Lived in Modern Times by Linda Grant. 2001, The Idea of Perfection by Kate Grenville. 2002, Bel Canto by Ann Patchett, not Pratchett. 2003, Property by Valerie Martin. 2004, Small Island by Andrea Levy. 2005, We Need to Talk About Kevin by Lionel Shriver. 2006, On Beauty by Zadie Smith. 2007, Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. 2008, The Road Home by Rose Tremaine. 2009, Home by Marilyn Robinson. 2010, The Lacuna by Barbara Kingsolver. 2011, The Tiger's Wife by T. Obrecht. 2012, The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. 2013, May We Be Forgiven by A.M. Holmes. 2014, A Girl is a Half-Formed Thing by Elmer McBride. 2015, How to Be Both by Allie Smith. 2016, The Glorious Heresies by Lisa McGarney. And 2017, The Power by Naomi Alderman. And again, I have not read any of those yet. So I've got a lot of reading ahead of me. And then just recently, I decided to add the Costa winners since 2006 when it became the Costa Award. Because again, just a lot of the books just sounded really interesting to me. Just sounded like books I would like. So why not add more and really try and add more to the list to try to get more out of my comfort zone. And yeah. So the Costa winners since 2006 are 2006 was The Tenderness of Wolves by Steph Penny, who was shortlisted this year for her current book. 2007, Day by A.L. Kennedy. 2008, The Secret Scripture by Sebastian Barry. 2009, A Scattering by Christopher Reed. 2010, Of Mutability by Joe Shapecott. 2011, Pure by Andrew Miller. 2012, Bring Up the Bodies by Hilary Mantel. 2013, The Shock of the Fall by Nathan Filer. 2014, H is for Hawk by Helen MacDonald. 2015, The Lie Tree by Frances Hardinge. And 2016, Days Without End by Sebastian Barry. Now, I should clarify. These are the Costa the Costa Book of the Year awards, which they pick from the winners of their other categories, because they have the categories of Novel of the Year. They also have Debut Author, Poetry. So they pick the winners of all their other categories, and then from the winners of the other categories, they pick the Costa Book of the Year. So these are the Costa Book of the Year winners since 2006. If I end up doing really well at some point with these, maybe I'll decide to add like novel and debut author categories, but these right now are just the overall book of the year winners, which whatever it is a winner of one of the other 4 or 5 categories that they have. So anyway, that's it. That is my award winners project. This is just like I've said before, this is just kind of a personal project for me to help break me more out of my comfort zone of fantasy, science fiction, horror, and even mystery. That's a big comfort zone for me too. So just to help try and make my reading truly more eclectic, because I just default to those things, and they're not the only things I like to read. So yeah, this isn't anything that I'm putting any kind of time limit on. It's not like this is a 2018 project and I want to read all these books by the end of 2018. This is going to take me a long time. And I will let you guys know when I have read something off of it. I'll when I'm doing a wrap up, I'll say this is off of my award winners project. Maybe give you a countdown of how many, where I'm at with it. Maybe I'll do an update video at some point and tell you where I'm at with it and what I've read and what I still have to read, and to kind of take you guys on the journey with me through this. But this is nothing that is going to be wrapped up anytime soon. This is probably going to take me a couple, 2-3 years to get through all of these books easily. So, but I will definitely feel some sort of sense of accomplishment once I do. And I need to figure out a way to work these books into my reading. Maybe just because I read multiple books at a time, maybe just have one of the books I'm reading always be towards my award winners project or something. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But yeah, so let me know in the comments what you think of this. If you've ever done some sort of project like this before, if you've read any of these books, let me know. Let me know let me know if you liked them or not. This video's ended up a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, so I will get signed off here. Hit me up in the comments, hook up with me on Twitter and Goodreads, and I will see you all in my next video.